Hello. Hi, hi. It's been a long day position. It's been a long 3 days. It's been a long 4 days. Honestly, like, how are you feeling? Your interviews are awesome. Thank you. I'm feeling dead, to be honest. I oh gosh, I don't even know where to begin with this. I went onto a disinformation fellowship study trip, or sort of like, I don't even know if it's a study trip, but it's like a trip with the Aspen Institute Germany branch. And it was 3 days, packed from like 6:30 a.m. to like 11 p.m. with lots of stuff. Like, we went and visited Lithuanian Stratcom, a military Stratcom, and like talked to them. We visited Delphi, which is this like news slash fact checking media, which is basically like their version of New York Times, but instead of writing opinion pieces, they write fact checks. And hi everyone. I'm gonna do the rounds of hellos in a second. We also visited the German embassy. We also visited, oh, hi, Kubiat. Welcome. Hi, Debu. Hi, Dan. Okay, let me do the rounds of hellos. Hi, Nick. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Animal. Hi, Bonjo. Hi, Yana. Hi, Tuvka. Hi, Juju. Sorry, I'm enthusiastic. I'm just tired. So for 3 days, it was like 6:30 wake up, and then up until like 11, it was like go, 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 go. And there was like no time for yourself. No, like, there was no time for yourself. There was no time to like take a break, really. There were like coffee breaks, but they were like 15 minutes each, basically. And they were in between sort of like, they were in between other, like other intense workshops and like meetings and stuff. And it was a great trip. Like, honestly, I'm so happy that I got into this fellowship program, and I'm so happy that I got to go. It was like incredibly educational. I met great people, some from Lithuania, who also combat disinformation and do political commentary and analysis, and they were fantastic. Oh, thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. And they were fantastic. And honestly, there was this like one, I guess, like media political figure from Lithuania who, and he does all of his commentary in Lithuanian, but he's just like so knowledgeable about just politics and different dynamics. And he gave us so much information about Lithuania's services and how they combat Russian disinformation and their like idea of Russia in general. It was like such a productive trip. And I mean, it was incredible. And I'm so happy I got to go. But with that said, again, there were no like breaks, and it's a very intense packed schedule. And there was no like time to ourselves. Like, I legitimately at some point just wanted, like, I was so tired that I just like craved sitting and staring at a wall in solitude, and I couldn't get it. I also had to work, obviously, while I was on this trip. So it's like we would get to the hotel around 11, and then I would have to stay up and like, finish some work and stuff like that. And then I would basically had 4 hours of sleep a night for 3 nights. And before that, I also had a 17 hour drive from Ukraine to Warsaw before I got on a flight from Warsaw to Vilnius. And I drove that entire time, 17 hours because it was 5.5 hours at the border. And I also was, it's like 6 hours from Kyiv to Lviv, and then like 5 hours from the border to Warsaw. Okay, let me read some comments. Okay. I have some advice, but I didn't ask for advice. Hi, Darshan. Lithuania is magical. Yeah, it is. Oh, any advice for undiagnosed autism? I mean, you should get diagnosed before you take on any sort of like mechanisms, coping mechanisms. I'm on the spectrum, and I would really highly not recommend not staying undiagnosed if you suspect that you might have it, because there's lots of work and lots of stuff that you can do to make some tasks easier. How is the situation in Ukraine? Well, there was a huge attack yesterday, like actually a really big one, and it was really loud. I was asking my friends about it, and it was there were drones and missiles, and it was just like mayhem. So not great. Are you a paid journalist? Well, yes and no. I'm not a paid journalist in a sense that, well, yes and no. It's a complicated question. Because basically I am a journalist. I work for a media channel, and that's where I do political analysis, and that's where I do interviews, and I kind of talk about, geopolitical dynamics and stuff like that. This is my personal channel, and I'm not paid to do this. I just exist and I just talk about my own opinions and, my own beliefs and politics and culture and personal experiences and stuff. And yeah, and there is a lot. Also, I wasn't a paid journalist and then created my channel. I actually started talking about politics and then, and analysis and culture and history, and then kind of got into reporting and into journalism from there. What is your opinion about India and Pakistan war right now? It's a lot to unpack. So again, I have not had a proper chance to see exactly what's been going on, because I've been preoccupied with this disinformation fellowship for 3 days straight, from like 6 a.m. For 3 days straight from 6 a.m. to like 11 p.m. And it was a lot. So I haven't really had a chance to. Also, thank you so much, Dan. So it was kind of. Wait, let me like sit up so I can actually not like fall asleep while I'm talking. Okay, so where was I? Sorry, I am diagnosed with ADHD, and that does track quite often. Okay, so India and Pakistan, I need a lot more information to kind of form my opinion on what's happening there and what we can expect next. But I do. I mean, it's worrying, right? It's worrying because there are all of these tensions in the world that are starting to unravel, that have been present for a while, and that's just a sign of world dynamics shifting, and that's a sign of well, a larger scale war around the world, because at this point, like, I think it's quite naive to deny that we live in a stage of World War III. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before it unravels more, because there have been a lot of regional tensions in like basically everywhere in the world, and and the thing is not even these individual occurrences, but the alliances between the countries that are at war to other countries that bring those other countries into war, and that way it becomes a World War III. And of course, again, power dynamics, countries that help certain countries now then face responsibilities for that. And it's not that easy. The world is a big and complicated place. So that's as much as I can say right now. But in terms of like details and in terms of what can be expected, it's it's you know it's I can't give you more than that because I haven't had the time to catch up. Also, someone asked if the Gaze is a part of a larger news network. Yeah, it's a network that works with the Ministry of Culture, and it is a part of UATV, and it's basically Ukraine's cultural outreach to international audiences. I work for the English speaking department. There is also a Portuguese department. There is a Spanish department. There is an Arabic department, I believe. There is also a Russian speaking department that largely communicates with people in the occupied territories. And there was someone Russian in this chat saying that I likely will not want to interact with them. Yes, I don't. I mean, I think it's pretty understandable why. Hello, ma'am. Hi. Okay. Thank you for your explanations. They're very helpful. Thank you, iBag. Well done. Slava Ukraini. Orban, you wish in an order for Jan bottle called Karma. Well, actually, so there was a girl at this fellowship trip who was from Hungary, and she actually was very curious about how Ukrainians perceive Hungarians, because there is this kind of dynamic in Hungary where Budapest is a bubble, and it's a liberal bubble, and most of the people in Budapest, or like almost all people in Budapest, do not support Orban. Okay, Narendra Modi. Hi, Nicole. So most of the people in Budapest don't support Orban, and they have a very liberal mayor, and they're pro-Ukrainian and they're anti-Russian, and they want Orban gone. And they have this new candidate called Peter Magyar, and he does seem to present a real threat to Orban's reign. And he's kind of like, he's a good candidate for Hungary because he does have some conservative values. But, oh, you're from India. He does have some conservative values, but at the same time, he is very progressive as well. And so he gives an option for like that older population that's like scared of, quote unquote, gay agenda and like, Western influence to vote for. I mean, again, like, please take that as like, I'm just trying to explain what the older population of Hungary is like. But there are lots of people that have been brainwashed by Orban for like decades. And they vote for him. And at this point, Orban has had such a grip on media and on everything that it's kind of hard for these older people to like, I guess, see something else because they're fully brainwashed by him. Are you Hungarian? No, I'm talking about something that I've been finding out from a Hungarian peer that I had just spent a couple of days with at a disinformation fellowship. So another thing that I found out is that, well, obviously all the media is controlled by Orban, but also influencers very often are controlled by him as well. And there are practically no influencer representation agencies or like marketing agencies that are not connected to him and don't and are not pushing his agenda. So she was saying that it's incredibly hard to be like an independent influencer in Hungary and not get political and like not, not push his narratives, because again, all the influencer agencies work for the government propaganda, or most of them do. But there are like loopholes and there are ways around it, but it was very, very interesting to like talk to her and to find out what her views are and what the views of people in Hungary as a whole are. How was Vilnius? It was beautiful. It was well, I mean, okay. So interestingly, Vilnius reminds me a little bit of Lviv and also a little bit of Chernivtsi. It is a very small city. There are some aspects to it that are incredibly progressive and European, and then there are some aspects where you still see a lot of the Soviet Union traces. I would say that it's a lot less developed than like Warsaw is, in a sense, but also it is, so like one of the things that I absolutely loved about Lithuania is that Lithuanians are not just David, one sec. I just talked about it briefly, but but give me one sec. I want to finish this one. But your accent is USA. Well, my accent is American because I've lived in the US for 14 years and I moved back to Ukraine a year ago to Kyiv because after the full-scale invasion, my priorities changed and I also wanted to be home and help and contribute as much as I can. So so basically, here's the gist, right? Like one of the things that really surprised me in Lithuania, and like I knew this before, I have Lithuanian friends, I've spoken to Lithuanians, I know that they support Ukraine tremendously, I know that they contribute the most out of all the Baltic states, even though all the Baltic states contribute a lot. They also have CIA asset. That's so fucking funny. Yeah, please get me that job and get me that paycheck. I would freaking love that. Um, uh, yeah. So anyways, so one of the things that was like really cool in Lithuania is that I know that they like fundraise every year. They have Radarom. They're like super supportive of Ukraine. But one of the like biggest takeaways was that like, Lithuanians are not just in solidarity with Ukraine, as in like, it wasn't this experience like everywhere else where, they're supportive and they feel like it's our problem and they're just in solidarity with us. It very much felt like they understand that it's everyone's problem and we're just the first domino, and they take it very seriously. And their support for Ukraine is visible absolutely everywhere. In front of our hotel, there was a building that's kind of like abandoned and it's a ruin, and there is this massive mural of a Ukrainian woman in traditional clothing, and we asked what it was about, and they said that this building was supposed to be Russia's culture house, and when the annexation of Crimea happened, Lithuania forbade them from developing it, and like very few countries reacted to the invasion of Crimea in 2014. So they seized the building basically, and it's a frozen Russian asset. And there is this like Ukraine graffiti on it. It says Slava Ukraini. No one's able to like build anything there. No one's able to do anything about it. And Lithuania is just like not allowing Russia to use it. There are Ukrainian flags everywhere. There were buses, and it'll tell you the route of the bus, and then the table will change, and it'll say Vilnius, Heart, Ukraina, which is Ukraine, and the support was everywhere. Ukrainian flags were everywhere. Blue and yellow is everywhere. It's like this influencer who was on the strip, who's a political commentator, Paulius. He at some point we were in his car because we were driving from the embassy basically, and he had a bavovna sticker, a bavovna like car scent type, well, like a car freshener, and it's such a like in Ukrainian internal, like, inside joke. And it was just really nice to see that people overall had a lot of, like, understood a lot of the context, also were very supportive of Ukraine. They're super anti-Russian. They really don't, they really try to do everything that they can to sort of both help us and defend themselves and explain to the rest of the world how big of a deal it is and how much it is not just a Ukraine problem. So yeah, so it was like a great experience, and it was the first time where I felt not just like supported, but also understood, and like we were one in this. So Lithuania was a fantastic place to visit. As to someone earlier, I think the name was David, asked about the Pakistan-India war. So here's the gist. I was on a disinformation fellowship trip for 3 days where I was busy from 6:30 in the morning to 11:30 at night. And there was like absolutely no breaks or time in between. I mean, there were like 2 or 3 that were 15 minutes to drink some coffee, because otherwise you would literally die. Like, I was so tired this morning when we did a German embassy visit that I literally, as I was sitting in the chair, I started dozing off and I had a hard time keeping my eyes open. So I didn't have any time to catch up on everything that's gone down since the war between India and Pakistan started. I know a little bit about the region, and I know a little bit about the tensions, and I know a little bit about what's happening there, but I'm not comfortable commenting and giving like a formed opinion until I have the time to actually catch up on everything tomorrow. What I will say is that there are lots of regional tensions that are coming up and that are now manifesting themselves into actual armed conflicts. And that is a very big indicator of a larger world problem and the change in power dynamics in the world, because clearly every conflict is getting set off, every regional tension is getting set off, which means that, we are in the shift of the world order, and we're also steadily approaching World War III, not just in terms of power dynamic shifts, but also battlefield, because it's not about, let's say, countries fighting each other. It's not about just the local wars, right? It's about their allies, and it's about the interaction of allies with each other and with other countries. It's a big, the world is a big and complicated place, as I said priorly, and obviously these things don't just happen on their own and don't get resolved on their own. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much for another 20 memberships. That's so generous of you. Source, trust me, bro. Well, no, actually, it's not a source. I'm not giving you a fact. I'm giving you my opinion, and I literally said I'm not comfortable commenting on India-Pakistan war without having all the information and without having the time to catch up on everything that happened, because I was tremendously busy in the past 3 days. I think that's reasonable and open enough when I say, hey, I don't have all the info, therefore I'm not going to comment on the specific situation, because I don't feel comfortable doing that without being fully briefed and without being fully knowledgeable about the situation. But I can give you a deduction, a logical conclusion based on everything that's happening around the world and the larger picture. And there doesn't need to be a source for that, because I'm not stating it as a fact. I'm giving you my opinion as someone who does political analysis daily for a living. I'm the source. Anyways, is there any truth to Ukraine using its people as human shields? No. Where is Ukraine using people as human shields? We shield ourselves from Russian drones and Russian missiles, like cruise missiles and ballistic missiles. Russia is not targeting military infrastructure. And when they say that it was like a military target and Ukraine lied or something and they actually hit a warehouse, like, here's the thing. If you wanted to hit a singular object, even let's say Russia didn't lie and they were actually aiming to hit some military infrastructure or some military object in a highly populated, densely populated capital city. They would be using Shahed drones because those drones are capable of inflicting just that amount of damage. They're not using just Shahed drones. They do combined attacks with cruise missiles and ballistic missiles. Those missiles are also packed with cluster munitions, which are things that explode upon the missile exploding. So they hit everything around it. So they're designed to cause as much damage as they possibly can to the surrounding areas as well. A cruise missile is not only going to destroy the building, it's going to destroy the building and buildings next to it if it's not taken down. The debris is going to destroy part of the building. Ballistic missile will destroy a neighborhood because it's a ballistic missile and it has a huge load. Russia sends both of these, and also recently Russia started sending missiles and Shahed drones packed with explosives that detonate 20 to 30 minutes after the Shahed itself exploded or was destroyed, which means that people walk around the area and then they explode because these are meant as like mines. And sometimes they don't explode until someone approaches it. And so there have been deaths from that. No, Ukraine is not using anyone as human shields. Russia is just indiscriminately targeting civilians and aiming to cause as much damage as humanly possible and aiming to kill as many people as possible. Also, Taz, oh my gosh, hi. Taz is Lithuanian and I just came back from Lithuania. I can see you do a website where you can actually just see it for yourself so you don't have to keep guessing. Huh? Are you in Kyiv? I'm going to be on my way to Kyiv. Well, I'm gonna go to Lviv tomorrow to visit my parents and get some things done that I need to. Like some stuff sorted. Hi, Steven. And then I'm gonna go to Kyiv on Saturday or Friday or something. So are you able to see countries arranging to some sides? I mean, of course, there are very public alliances, and then there are alliances that are de facto, or they're sort of like, you know, China doesn't technically have an alliance with Russia, but China sells weapons to Russia, right? They're neutral as their country's policy, but in reality, they're aiding Russia. So, I mean, there are lots of things like that. Also, gosh, this thing is so uncomfortable. Who designed this? Wow. Ooh, terrible. Okay. I can send you to a website where you can see exactly what's going on right now. You wouldn't have the stomach to keep watching it, believe me. I wouldn't have the stomach to keep watching a war. I live in a war zone. I mean, I don't know if you would have the stomach to live in a war zone. I do. I wake up from, like, you know, Shaheds literally flying past my building. Well, so far past my building, which is really useful. My office was destroyed twice by a ballistic missile, 2 separate offices, by the way. Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to not have the stomach for, but yeah, you know, I live very close to an oncological hospital that was destroyed by Russia with a ballistic missile last summer. So yeah, I've had a fair share of, you know, stuff that some people might not have a stomach for. And every night, pretty much, I wake up because my whole building is shaking because air defense is taking down cruise missiles and drones. So yeah, like, I mean, you know, we can talk about stomachs. Okay, morning, Yulia. India time now, 3:24, 3 something a.m. Wow, that's 3:02 maybe. Wow, that's late. You should go to bed. Also, oh, I'm back. That's so sweet. What about Pepsi? What? I'm trying to track her location so we can give it up to authorities. Good luck. Give it up to authorities for freaking what? Also, I mean, good luck. Yeah. What do you think about Serbia and Slovakia at the Day Parade in Moscow? I mean, didn't they cancel their visits because they suddenly felt sick after they asked Ukraine to guarantee their safety, and Ukraine was like, we can't guarantee you safety on the territory of a foreign country. Wait, are you a Zionist? What the fuck are you even on? I'm an artificial intelligent. Okay, there's so many trolls here. Also, oh my gosh, Dan, more memberships. Thank you. Oh, Dan, that's so sweet. We can share something about the real Russia. Can you share attacked Ukraine? Because Russia wants to destroy Ukraine. It's literally that easy. Oh, they both arrived today. I mean, here's the thing, like, the thing is, we know that they're pro-Russian, so it's not surprising. These comments are just not it. There are lots of trolls, so like I'm not surprised. Just a lonely bot. Hi, Bommy. Hi, Lucas. India got sick. Oh, Narendra Modi got sick, right? But I think his situation is likely a little different because obviously there is a war, and I'm sure that he knew of the plans, before. So it would be weird if he wouldn't be in his country. It would be weird if he wouldn't be in his country during that happening, So I think he has quite a reason why he's not in Russia. I'm in Lviv on Friday for 2 weeks. Oh, that's nice. I'm leaving Lviv. Well, I'm gonna be in Lviv for like a second. Who among us hasn't launched ballistic missiles to get out of a party? Oh yeah, for sure. How are you? I'm good. Well, I'm tired. I'm very, very tired, but I'm good. You're going back me in about 10 days. Bringing up India and Pakistan will bring out the trolls. Oh yeah, because that's the topic right now. But anyways, what was that fellowship called? Well, I'm not going to get into details of that right now while there is like a ton of trolls on the live. But it was a great opportunity to talk to like lawmakers in Europe and also talk to the Lithuanian military and to Delphi, which is an amazing fact-checking media in Lithuania, and they work for all of Europe. They do fact-checking for all of the European media outlets because they're basically not an opinion-based media, they're a fact-checking media, and it's really cool. And also, like, we talked to the German embassy people. There were a lot of really interesting sort of connections and really interesting opportunities. I really enjoyed this trip, and I really enjoyed what it had given me. I'm also going to Berlin in September for the second part of this fellowship, and there is going to be quite a bit. Of other stuff going on. I just really hope that it's not going to be nearly as intense and nearly as packed. There are 2 parts, yeah. Yeah, 2 parts. Also, there is, it's going to continue online as well throughout like the months to come, but it's the in-person parts are in Lithuania and in Germany. Didn't Ukraine threaten Russia? No, Ukraine did not threaten the Russian economy by any means. Actually, Ukraine was given the worst deal on the planet and forced to buy Russian gas even though we didn't need it. Being in disinformation, you must know Operator Starsky. Yes, I do. Ukraine's desire to join NATO. There are two countries that are on Russia's border that joined NATO recently, and he has no problem with that. There's also Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia that are in NATO, and Putin has no problem with that. And all these countries border Russia. Um, literally, literally no. Ukraine, first of all, wasn't joining NATO. And we are an autonomous country, and we can choose our alliances and we can choose our partners. We can choose to do whatever we want. We never attacked Russia. We never gave Russia any reason to think that we will attack Russia. In fact, Russia has threatened and attacked us since 2003. Russia also created multiple genocides of Ukrainians throughout history, so it's never about NATO. Your thinking is too small. Yours is. Yours is, because you are trying to push a narrative that it's somehow about NATO and started in 2014, even though Ukraine wasn't even applying to NATO. Heroям слава. In 2014. Actually, most Ukrainians were against joining NATO until 2022 and Russia's full-scale invasion. Also, Russia didn't just come in and, no, yeah, it is a narrative. It is absolutely a narrative straight out of Putin's mouth, because before that, Russia has attacked Ukraine multiple times. And none of that had anything to do with NATO. Russia also, recently, there was finally proof released that it was Russia that poisoned a Ukrainian presidential candidate in 2004 and tried to kill him in order for their preferred candidate to win. In 2004, there was no talk about Ukraine joining NATO whatsoever. I don't think you understand this topic, really. So a born and raised Ukrainian who is literally working in geopolitics analysis, and I totally have zero clue about the topic, while you have never been to Ukraine and literally know nothing about it, or history, or geopolitics surrounding it, or any of the dynamics in the region. Right. Sure. Anyways, here's the thing. From this moment on, I'm actually going to ignore the trolls, because here's a funny thing that you don't understand. I deal with things like you professionally for a long time, and I know what your goals are and what you're trying to do, and you think you're pissing me off, and you think you're somehow upsetting my day, but I'm really grateful to you, because you generate engagement, which means that people that actually use their brains and want to use their brains will come to this and discover my page, and therefore you think you're harming me, but you're actually helping me, and it's kind of funny. Trolls are inept lovers. Well, I don't care for their, I don't necessarily care for their love abilities, or what their what their abilities are on that front. I just kind of find it funny, because I think that most of the times when I used to do lives every night, especially in the beginning of the full-scale invasion, there were like swarms of trolls coming in trying to piss me off, and then they would like run away basically crying, because yeah, because it's just not what they are trying to do. Oh, hi, Graham. What is my degree in? My degree is in, part of it is in psychology, part of it is in design. I worked as it's complicated. I have quite a bit of educational background in fields that kind of seem disconnected but really work together quite well. How are you? How's doggos and how was your trip? Taz, I mean, uh, you know, I wish you were here when I was talking about Lithuania. Lithuania is so great, and Lithuania is so fantastic, and I was so like taken aback by how great it is. Inept losers. Oh yeah, are you driving back to Lviv? Yeah. What would happen to Putin if he stopped the war? Actually, I mean, here's the thing: he can't, because the entirety of his image right now is tied to conducting the war. He is losing so many people a day. There are issues with conscription because he needs, he needs additional soldiers, and he gets them from North Korea. In some cases, they're also quite literally kidnapping people from Africa under false pretenses. There is a lot going on there. Putin can't afford to sort of like stop this war for his own career and standing within Russia. But there is this false idea that if Putin dies, then somehow this war stops and everything goes back to normal and, holy jolly and stuff. But Putin is just one man. There is an apparatus. If he was just one person trying to do something that everyone else was against, he wouldn't be able to do it because there would be resistance from the elites, and there would be one man cannot control everything unless there are other people that allow him to control it, that kind of back him on it, right? So it's a system, it's an apparatus, and that apparatus is going to be the same. Have you traveled to India? No, I actually have never been, but I would like to go at some point. Dan, have you been to Vilnius before? No, I haven't been to Lithuania before, and I haven't been to Latvia yet, and I haven't been to Estonia, but everybody, both Latvians and Lithuanians that I've met on this trip, told me to go to Estonia because apparently in their mind, the review is that Estonia is like really progressive. It's really cool. It's very close to Scandinavia, to Scandinavian countries. So it apparently has a lot of like Scandinavian vibes, and there is an interesting mix of culture because of the proximity. And I'm very, very curious. I really want to go at some point. I would love to go on a road trip around, around the Baltics and into Scandinavia. Tallinn is a must. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Just not during frog season. Well, you guys have like interesting seasons because it's May and it was so cold and it was raining and the weather was so bipolar. What did you eat today? Actually some tacos. And before that, I don't remember. Honestly, I think like a slice of pizza. Oh, hi, James. Good to see you. I want to go to Latvia. Yeah, me too. Oh, hi, Scotland. Oh, Bologna is my favorite district in Kyiv. Interesting. That's actually very interesting. Is a choice. And Bologna is like developing really fast. It's a really fast growing neighborhood. But yeah. Oh, Taz, right. I forgot that you're a moderator on YouTube. Give very fit answers to Russia. Riga wasn't my thing. I mean, yeah, to each their own. I haven't been, so I can't say. I really want to go. Way too many messages to filter. Yeah, tons of trolls. It's actually quite surprising. Do you think Russia backing India and India versus Pakistan conflict good? I don't think anyone dealing with Russia is good because Russia is not helping you out of the goodness of their heart. Russia, Russia wants you to owe them, and Russia wants you to owe them big. Russia wants to insert themselves in every situation they can in order to gain advantage from that. Did you discuss the minerals deal already? The pro-Russia propagandists in America are super angry about it. Yeah, so I haven't discussed it yet. I will on at work on the gaze once I record on Thursday, I believe. The thing is, the minerals deal isn't bad. It's actually pretty good for both Ukraine and the US, the way that they were able to negotiate it, what they were able to negotiate it to. Hi, Ismin. Alice, hi. But so yeah, but so there is, I think that it's, well, the US is also not currently launching a genocide on multiple countries. It's also not occupying Moldova. It's not occupying Georgia. It's not, it's a bit different. I love this argument of like, oh, well, the US isn't doing this either. I mean, like, I'm not American, so I don't know why you were telling me this. I have no ability to vote in America and decide what America does or doesn't. Also, the Trump administration right now is doing a ton of anti-human things to their own citizens. So like, so yeah, so, oh, hi, Grumpy. You seem very Canadian. I'm Ukrainian. I'm literally Ukrainian. Born and raised Ukrainian. You're not American? No, I'm not. I'm born and raised Ukrainian. Wait. I'm so confused. Yeah, so the minerals deal was actually good for... No, I'm not, Alice. The minerals deal is actually good for both Ukraine and the US, and it's kind of funny how once the mineral deal was signed, like the US changed its tune so much. JD Vance went from like yelling at Zelensky and trying to like put him down to Russia wants too much to end the war. Actually, if you look at it, Ukraine is reasonable and Russia is not, and it's like okay, JD. I just can't believe we have a felon as a president. Yeah, I mean, I can believe it. It's just awful. What city are you from? I'm from Lviv. I just can't believe... wait, hey, Yulia. Hi, Ajay? It would be Ajay or Ajay? Ajay, I think. Today, world leaders are all mad. Well, no, some of them are actually really good. Some of them I'm very proud of. Yes, fighting with such huge power is useless. Not really. That's what the power wants you to think, but here's the funny thing. They were supposed to take over the entirety of Ukraine in 3 days. And it's been 3.5 years, and they are losing an unsustainable amount of population. And they really clearly can't reach their goals. Alrighty, you guys, it's almost midnight, and I need to go to bed, because I do want to, like, get some rest. I did want to, like, check in and tell you some things about the trip. I'm quite surprised at how many people are here, and I'm quite surprised, I'm quite surprised how many people were here. I'm also, quite surprised how many trolls were and are here. I don't think I have an wait, did you say I have a, East Coast accent? Yeah, I mean, I lived in New York for a long time, but, like, I lived in Ukraine until I was 15, so... I wish that I could go to sleep and never wake up. That's not good. Talk to someone about that. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow, depends, but okay. Bye, you guys. Bye-bye.